Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating expert report that totally dissects the highly complex and frankly, often hidden tax obligations for foreign entities operating under U.S. law. Our goal today is to act as an analytical engine. We're going to strip away all the surface-level filler and look directly at the underlying mechanics. Because, if you're a foreign partnership or trust with any kind of U.S. footprint, just doing the bare minimum compliance, that simply isn't going to cut it anymore. You really need to understand the gears of the machine, and that is exactly what we're going to break down for you right now. Okay, so here's our logical roadmap for this deep dive. First, the regulatory baseline. Then we'll get into withholding regimes, the FDAP mismatch, income characterization, and finally, wrap it up with the real cost of non-compliance. So before we get into the weeds, I want to present this hook to really establish the stakes here. Think about this. How do hidden timing rules expose foreign entities to U.S. tax liabilities? I want to challenge you to look way beyond just filling out the right forms on time. The U.S. tax code actually operates on these implicit mechanical triggers. Sometimes, doing everything absolutely correctly on paper in year one sets an invisible trap for year two if you don't fully grasp the chronological machinery of the law. Keep that concept in the back of your mind as we go through this. Let's transition into part one, the regulatory baseline. Expert analysis reveals that two specific chapters, Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 of the U.S. Tax Code, really form the foundational regulatory baseline. Chapter 3 deals broadly with withholding tax on non-resident aliens and foreign corporations, while Chapter 4 is what's widely known as FATCA, or the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. Together, these frameworks essentially force foreign entities to navigate an incredibly complex web of withholding mechanisms. If you're operating internationally, you are fundamentally operating within the gravitational pull of Chapters 3 and 4. These aren't just local administrative rules, right? They act as this massive global dragnet designed to track capital flows back to the US, demanding strict adherence regardless of where your entity is physically headquartered. Moving right along to Section 2, Withholding and Reporting Regimes. Let's cleanly map out these dense statutory facts. This is where theory meets reality. Specific sections of the U.S. Tax Code trigger distinct required reporting forms. For instance, if you have partnership withholding under Section 1446, boom, you're automatically triggered into Forms 8804 and 8805. If you fall under Chapter 4 for foreign accounts, you're dealing with Forms 8966 and the incredibly important 1042S. And if you trigger backup withholding under Chapter 61, you are squarely in the realm of the 1099 and 945. Actually, scratch the idea that this is just a list of paperwork. It's more of a strict, rigid matrix of legal exposure where one specific financial action definitively triggers one specific form. And this dynamic creates a pretty ruthless cause and effect loop for Chapter 4 compliance. On one side of the equation, you have the requirement. Foreign financial institutions and entities absolutely must report U.S. account holders. On the flip side, you have the penalty. Failing to meet that reporting requirement doesn't just result in a polite warning letter. No, it directly triggers an enforced automatic withholding tax on specific incoming payments. The system is designed to enforce itself by mechanically taking your capital before it even hits your bank account. 30%, that is a massive extraction, right? This 30% withholding acts as a forceful, blunt instrument penalty that compels global entities to fall in line with these strict reporting regimes. And here is a highly non-obvious detail from the expert analysis that you really need to catch. Withholding agents will systematically default to this higher statutory rate of 30% rather than any lower treaty rates unless the entity has perfectly, and I mean perfectly, executed the compliance to claim those treaty benefits. The default setting of the U.S. tax code is just maximum extraction until proven otherwise. That brings us to Section 3, the FDAP timing mismatch. Let's see how this builds into an expert-level operational trap. According to the expert documentation, there's a very, very specific marker hidden on Form 1042-S. It's called the Box 7C indicator. This little box, specifically meant for partnerships and trusts, sets the stage for a completely non-obvious timing mechanism regarding FDAP income. Now, FDAP stands for Fixed Determinable Annual or Periodical Income. Think of things like interest, dividends, or royalties. Box 7C essentially signals that withholding normally occurs upon the actual physical distribution of that U.S.-sourced income to the foreign partner. But what happens if the money isn't actually distributed right away? Well, this is exactly where the trap snaps shut. Walk through this sequence with me because it's wild. Step 1. U.S.-sourced FDIP income is earned by the partnership in year 1. All good so far. Step 2. For whatever internal business reason, no actual cash distribution is made to the foreign partner in that same year. The money just stays in the entity. Now here is the absolute kicker in step 3. By law, the withholding tax is forcibly applied in the subsequent year on that partner's proportional share, regardless of whether they ever received a single cent of the cash. This sequence creates an implicit, highly actionable trap for foreign trusts and partnerships. So why does this matter so much? Because expert analysis indicates the specific mismatch requires highly sophisticated operational forecasting. You're left with a severe operational lag. The income is recorded in year 1, sure, but the tax withholding unexpectedly hits the entity in year 2, drawing down capital for a partner who hasn't even been paid out yet. If your accounting logic doesn't anticipate this, foreign partners are going to face massive, unexpected liquidity drains. It's literally like being forced to pay the sales tax out of pocket on a car that you haven't even been allowed to drive off the lot yet. Now that we've mapped the timing mechanisms, let's pivot to Section 4, Income Characterization and Flow-Through Logic. Let's break down how the identity of the income itself flows through the entity. The U.S. system treats partnerships almost like transparent glass pipes. This means the income strictly retains its original source character as it passes from the partnership all the way down to the individual. For example, if the entity's income is calculated to be 60% foreign-sourced and 40% U.S.-sourced, then exactly 60% of the partner's eventual distribution remains foreign-sourced. And here is the major actionable takeaway. This rigid logic applies regardless of the partner's physical location or their citizenship. The exact nature of the dollar is defined up at the entity level, not the individual level. Moving forward, expert documentation reveals that Schedule K3 is the absolute critical hub where this proportional flow-through is officially recorded. This is the mandatory mechanism for reporting a partner's proportionate share of foreign income, foreign taxes, and source characteristics. It is absolutely not optional, and it demands incredibly granular data from the partnership to satisfy the tax authorities. Missing or incomplete K3 data doesn't just raise an administrative eyebrow, it invites immediate regulatory scrutiny. The ruthless efficiency of the IRS practically guarantees that missing this step will trigger audits down the line.
Let's synthesize all these mechanisms as we head into our final section, the strategic cost of non-compliance.
3 to 10 times. Let that staggering figure sink in for a second. Expert analysis asserts that the cost of non-compliance in the U.S. can be anywhere from 3 to 10 times the actual cost of establishing proper structural compliance in the very beginning. This is a massive cost multiplier. Trying to retroactively fix a fractured international tax structure is exponentially more expensive than just building it correctly from day one. Let's detail exactly where that multiplier comes from based on the implicit assumptions in the expert data. First off, if you're selling into the US without proper reporting, you create immediate compounding tax exposure. Those penalties stack up incredibly fast. Second, withholding agents legally must default to that punishing 30% statutory rate, totally ignoring any lower treaty rates you might deserve if your paperwork isn't perfect. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, if you overpay a foreign tax but fail to exhaust all legal remedies to get a refund from that foreign country, the US will completely nullify your eligibility for a foreign tax credit. You will be double taxed, no way around it. Finally, operational lag penalties compound viciously if you delay proper entity incorporation while you're already doing business. The overarching takeaway? The US tax code relentlessly penalizes structural disorganization. So, I want to wrap up this explainer by leaving you with something to really chew on. Is your structural tax logic actively accounting for operational timing mismatches and flow-through exposure? As we've seen today, simply filling out a form is nowhere near enough. You've got to anticipate the timing lags, grasp the rigid nature of income characterization, and fully respect the severe penalties for non-compliance. I really hope this deep dive has given you the analytical tools to carefully evaluate your own expert-level compliance mechanisms. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning the mechanics behind the rules.